Hey everyone, it is Kiki Garcia, and I'm super excited today. I've noticed I've been taking more walks lately, and the more I go out, the more people I'm seeing. It seems like we are just done with COVID-19 and we want to be outside enjoying the fresh air and, of course, getting a little exercise in as well. So I invited Dr. Heather Moore to join us this morning. She is a physical therapist. She's also a member of the United States Olympic Committee sports medicine team. So she is an expert on getting out there and, of course, some injuries we might be acquiring because we're trying to get out there so fast. Good morning, Heather. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, okay, like I said, everyone's outside trying to soak in the sun and get their jog on. Is there such a thing as too much too soon? Should we ramp up gradually or should we set big goals for ourselves?
The answer is yes to both of those. I think it's important to have those big goals, but it's also important to take those baby steps in achieving them. Most people don't realize that the biggest reason people stop working out is because of injury. And it's because it's just too much too soon. So taking those baby steps and working our way up to those big goals is really important. But it's important to have those big goals that you want to achieve. Otherwise, you're just going to go out there and not really have anything to work towards. But having those big goals is important, but setting up your plan in baby steps is also really important to keep yourself healthy.
So I'm a walker. And I walk like at a good pace. It's not like I'm just strolling along. But I noticed the other day I was at my usual path and I always feel, I want to say, intimidated to be running out there. But I noticed people just jog the way they want to. It's not like a pressure. Like, I think we put the pressure on ourselves, but there is no pressure like wrong or right way. Am I right?
Correct. I think there's a very big misconception with running that we all need to be 6-minute milers. And if we're not doing that, then don't even bother running. And I find that ridiculous because most of the runners I work with are not 6-minute milers. They're me. I'm, the 10-minute mile. I just go out and I just want to enjoy myself. And I think people stop running a lot of times because they are intimidated. They don't even start. And, doing a walk with a minute run here or there, however slow you want to take it, and this is one of the times you want to listen to your body because so many people hop on a treadmill and jack it up to that 10-minute mile, that 6-minute mile piece, and they wind up hurting themselves. But running outside for that minute where you're running your own pace, you're listening to your body, really important. And then, you can work your way up to 2 minutes or whatever it is. But I think everyone has this preconceived notion of what this perfect runner and this perfect runner's body is supposed to be. And it's not that way at all. And it's important to understand that, gradually ramp it up. Otherwise you are going to get hurt and you won't be running anything.
My husband always makes fun of me. He says I jog like Phoebe from Friends, like but I don't know, as long as it's fun and you're doing it, isn't that the point?
That's all that matters. I always get asked, what's the perfect type of exercise? What would you recommend I do? And I always say, do what you enjoy. I cannot force you to do anything. There's no one perfect exercise. If CrossFit's your thing, if running's your thing, if walking's your thing, it doesn't matter. Just go do it. Make sure you're getting that 30 minutes at least a day of exercise. There is no perfect exercise. And, if you look like Phoebe from Friends, I don't even know what I look like when I run, but get out there and do it. It doesn't matter, but you just need to stay healthy. And we're coming off a year where cell phone tracked us, moving 50% less, which is awful for our cardiovascular system. So we need to make sure we're getting out and doing any sort of exercise at this point.
Okay, so another thing that I'm seeing a lot out there is cyclists. So what's a better fit? Is it jogging or is it the cycling? What's a better thing to be doing for our health?
Oh, that's the question I get all the time. Honestly, both of them are great. And there is no better one better than the other. I personally do 1 day a week of cycling and 1 day a week of running, and I alternate that. And then I do 1 day a week of strength training. I think the more you can mix in different exercises, the healthier you stay, the more you work muscles that may not get worked. If you're running 7 days a week, you're not working all the muscles that you need to. If you're cycling 7 days a week, you're not working all the muscles you need to. So doing different exercises on different days is really important. I think people get so in this rut of I have to do the same thing, and they find the latest and greatest, whatever fake craze it is, and they wind up just sticking it there and getting bored after 3 months and then quitting altogether. Doing 1 day of one thing, 1 day of another thing is really important to, first of all, just keep you motivated, but also it helps strengthen different muscles and it keeps you injury free.
What about, okay, for cycling? I am a beach cruiser girl because I never learned the speed, so I don't
Right.
even really understand them. Is beach cruising just as good as cycling?
Absolutely. So, you can get exercise in any way, shape, or form. You can do a lower level exercise for longer periods of time, or you can get that high intensity 20-minute workout where, you're mopping yourself off the floor. So it really depends on what your goals are and what you're looking to do. Again, getting out there that 30 minutes every day is just so important. And I think that's where a lot of people are at right now, is just getting back into the routine of exercise. But I think so many people quit because they just bite off more than they can chew. And, oh, beach cruising isn't okay. Yes, it is. Go do something. It's better than sitting on the couch. So understand that whatever you choose to do, you're not going to improve your fitness if you do the same thing every day all the time, but it's going to be something if you're just getting off the couch.
I also think like just getting outside in the fresh air, like I just went out to take the trash out and I felt better just getting that cold morning air in my face. I think that's what we miss out on as well. Everyone's working from home, living at home, not really going outside. Just the fresh air. It's such a great feeling to like clear your head.
Absolutely. The sun's gotten a bad rap over the years, but it's such an important part that we are out in the sun. You don't have to bake yourself and put suntan oil on to attract, that gorgeous tan. But people have really become unaware of how important the natural vitamins you get from being
Mhm.
outside. And I think that, we've gone way too far in the other direction where now we're like, oh, the sun is so bad, I can't be out in the sun. No, you can and you should be. You need that fresh air. You need those vitamins that only are supplied to you from, the sun and being outdoors.
You brought up a great point, and I'm laughing in my head because my husband, he takes vitamin D like it's chiclets all day long because he gets the gummies. And, just go outside for a half an hour, sit in the backyard even, or walk around the park just once, and you would get the same effect.
Exactly. I think people would be surprised just how better they feel just walking for, 20 minutes. Just, I go out in the middle of the day a lot and just walk. It's not my exercise for the day, but it clears my head. I get away from my desk. I get away from whatever I'm dealing with at work. And, I come back a totally different person. And sometimes you have that feeling of you don't want to start, you don't want to go, you have all these excuses, but,
Mhm.
1 or 2 minutes in and you're breathing that nice fresh air and you're like, oh, this wasn't a bad idea.
So let's talk about injuries a little bit. Cycling comes with its own set of injuries that are possible. How can you avoid getting hurt?
So one of the things that you really want to make sure is you're having a good foam rolling and a good stretching program. We have a YouTube channel, Total Performance Physical Therapy, that has an extensive library of videos that shows you how to foam roll, how to stretch. And people always say, well, what's better? Foam rolling is better than stretching because you don't have to do it for a really specific amount of time. You can do it a little bit throughout the day. But taking that preventative measure is super important. And I know everyone's like, I don't have time to stretch. I hate stretching. Okay, leave the stretching out, but do foam rolling. You have to do recovery activities. At the Olympic Training Center, the recovery room is just as big as the therapy room and any other training room in there. And they go in there every single night and they work their recovery, which is foam rolling. So they have, extensive recovery aids because they're the Olympians. But it's really important that you take that 5 minutes off your run, if that's what you need to do, to do those types of activities so you stay injury free. Otherwise, you will not stay injury free if you are not doing any sort of recovery. And sleep is an important part of recovery.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So the foam roller, you brought it up. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Okay.
I've done it. I've done a class in Pilates with it. And of course, I used to go to UFC gym, so they use it a lot. Do you ever get used to it? Because I feel like it hurts so much or it's uncomfortable. Why is that? And do you ever get used to it and past that feeling?
So foam rolling is like the thing that I always say about treadmills. People buy them and then just use them for clothes hangers. And it's because it gets so painful. And the thing that people don't realize is if it's painful, you should actually be doing it more. The pain that you feel is actually knots that are in your muscles. So I always tell people that foam rolling is actually a really good way to pick up on injury before you ever get injured. So if you're foam rolling and you feel a lot of pain, that's a lot of knots in your muscles. They will eventually start to cause pain in your back, your neck, your knee, it's going to cause some pain, some issues down the line. If you can get them out and you can foam roll them out, then you are less likely to be injured. But you're absolutely right. A lot of times it's painful. I always recommend having 2 foam rollers, one that's flat, like squishy. So when you on days you're sore, or if you roll a muscle that you just can't tolerate on a harder, spikier foam roller, go back to that, but don't quit. And the fact of the matter is you do actually get used to it. Some people, it takes months to actually be able to get used to it. But I am at the point where if I don't foam roll, my muscles are like, I need that. I need you to get on the foam roller. And it still hurts sometimes because I'm out there running. We form knots every day. And unless we're flushing them out with that foam roller, we're not going to they're going to just keep building. So it's okay to have pain on the foam roller. There's a lot of misconceptions out there. Like I said, Total Performance Physical Therapy YouTube channel has a ton of stuff on all of this and answering these myths that are out there, and really getting down in the nitty gritty on how this is important and how you should every day be foam rolling, even if you're not exercising, even if you're just sitting at your desk. This is going to help your neck and back pain too.
All right, I'm going to go out and buy one today and try it this weekend and start doing it. Just even, I would think just even like 5 minutes a day until you build up is good, right?
Absolutely. The best part about foam rolling is whereas, as opposed to stretching, a stretch, you have to hold 30 seconds, do 6 repetitions to get the maximum benefit. Foam rolling, you can do a minute here, a minute there, hop down and just do your hamstrings or your gastrocs or your a part of your leg or your butt. And, you can just do it for a minute here or a minute there. And that's usually what I recommend is find times where you're just, maybe sitting on a conference call, something where you can just kind of hop down on the floor and roll out real quick. And it really is you can make that part of your day. And I think any type of exercise or recovery, incorporating it into things you're already doing allows it to become much more easy to do.
All right, I'm going to try it. I'll let you know how I do.
All right. Awesome.
Okay, so this is a very important question for me. All my life, since I was in high school, maybe even middle school, I've heard people say, oh, I have shin splints. I have shin splints. I've never understood all my life what these are. What are they and how can we prevent them?
Right. So shin splints are a very popular exercise injury that happens. And a lot of times this is the difficulty with shin splints is while it's pain in the shins, it occurs from a lot of different spots. So it could be that your shoes are not properly fitted or you're running with old shoes. It could be that your hips are weak. It could be that your hamstrings are weak. So one of the hardest things is people go online and they read all exactly what shin splints are. And it's a pain literally in the front of your shin, just to define it. But where it's coming from is really the crux of the matter, and treating exactly where it's coming from is the big part about getting rid of them for good. So many people just put ice on their shins, or they put tape on their shins, or they do some compression thinking, okay, it's going away. It's not going away. You've got to find out exactly where it's coming from. There are different exercises and stretches depending on what is going on. But, you always want to make sure your shoes that if you are suffering with shin splints right now, you should not be barefoot or walking in flip-flops. You should have really good supportive shoes. If you've never been fitted properly for a walking shoe or a running shoe, go to your local running store and get that fitted. And then there's strengthening exercises. Again, people always overlook the strengthening part of anything. Everyone just wants to do cardio and no strengthening.
Mhm.
Super important to have that strengthening piece in there, even if it's 10 minutes a day. Your hip weakness can cause knee pain, back pain, leg pain, shin splints, all of it. So, having, again, that full encompassing workout where you're hitting a little bit of everything is really important.
So when you do get injured and you go to the doctor and maybe you're getting an MRI, does everything always show up on that MRI, or are there just some things that just don't?
No, we actually, most of our patients come in because they're so frustrated because nothing shows up on x-ray or MRI and they have pain. And when they go to the doctor, they say, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy because I'm having this shoulder pain or neck pain or hip pain and nothing's showing up on MRI except arthritis. And it's not arthritis. I know it's not arthritis. Everyone over the age of 18 is going to have arthritis on their x-ray and MRI, but most of the time that has nothing to do with why you have pain. So these knots that we talked about, they create a lot of issues and a lot of pain and can cause you to have pain in your shoulder, your neck, your back. So it's important, especially if you have pain that you're experiencing. My rule is 2 weeks. If you have pain that's been going on for more than 2 weeks, or
Mhm.
you can recall the last time you had an episode, you need to get it treated. It's not going away on its own. We're not going to run to the doctor with every ache and pain, but if it's been going on for 2 weeks, you need to get it addressed. And if it's not showing up on x-ray and MRI, that's actually a good thing because that means there's nothing huge going on, but you need to be
Oh,
in,
okay.
tears show up on MRIs. That's not a good thing. You don't want anything torn.
Right.
Um,
Ooh,
or
yeah.
surgeries.
Well,
Exactly. So no, most of what we treat is stuff that doesn't show up on x-ray or MRI.
oh, all right. All right. So much good information. I think the bottom line is it's okay. Go out there, enjoy yourself, soak in the sun, get some exercise in every day, and just listen to your body, right?
Right. Absolutely. So many people ignore their body and it's so weird to me. Like I
I
understand,
know.
it'll tell you to lay on the couch sometimes a little bit too long, but the amount of people that push through pain and push through their body and just kind of ignore it, I'm like, no, no, no. That's like the number one thing people say. Well, I knew this was bothering me, but I didn't really know. When your body is saying enough is enough, or this is hurting, or there's something going on. But we are masters at ignoring things. That's for sure.
Mhm. That's amen to that. So, where can people go for more information?
So I already referenced our YouTube channel, Total Performance Physical Therapy, lots of videos on all different topics. You can go to our website, www.totalperformancept, as in physical therapy.com. Again, another great resource. We have blogs, we have all sorts of videos, books, things like that that you can download and watch for free.
Dr. Heather Moore, thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you for having me. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Perfect.